Thank you, Sharada Devi and the team. It's an honor, a privilege, a joy to be here. I believe the third time in the Women Navaratri festival. And seeing all of you lovely women, it just makes my heart grow even more full. We invoke the grace of Mother Goddess. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Matra Rupena Samsthita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. My namaskara again and again to Devi, who is present as the mother and all that the mother represents in all beings. So my namaskara again and again to her. The title of my talk is The Power and Healing of Durga Devi. And on this opening day of Navaratri, which literally means 9 nights of worship, it signifies the progress of a seeker. We have a word called ahankara. Ahankara is the self-concept, my idea, my notion of oneself. People do translate it as ego, but then it has Freudian connotations. So here is this individual, ahankara. Aham karoti iti ahankara. I do, therefore I have a concept about who I am. You know, whenever we want to claim we have done something, at least when we were children, we would thump our chest and say, I did it. That's the ahankara, okay, our self-concept. And so the 9 nights of worship really indicate the progress of this seeker, this individual who allows some transformation to take place by welcoming Devi into one's life. Now, who is this ahankara or the seeker? Is the individual who has many conclusions, many self-judgments based on what one has done in life. I am so and so. I have made great use of the opportunities given to me. Or there are regrets. I wish I had not wasted my time in that profession from 30 to 35 years. Or we define ourselves by our marital status. So I'm married, single, separated. Or as Facebook gives us the option, relationship status, it is complicated. This is the ahankara, the self-concept, okay, which has some regrets and guilts about different acts of omission and commission that have been done in life. What others did to me, what others did not do to me, what I did not do, so on and so forth. This individual has some fulfillment in relationships, has had some achievements. There is also some hurt. And so we use 2 words for this individual, the ahankara, who is now both a karta, a doer of many actions of karma, and the one who is the bhokta, the experiencer of all sorts of experiences. But now, having been there, done that, worn the t-shirt, posted the selfie, now wants to know the truth of what is revealed in the Vedas. The individual ahankara now wants to do something meaningful during Navaratri. So during this Navaratri, which is likened to a spiritual journey, we seek the grace of Durga, Lakshmi and Saraswati Devis. Now, why do we worship them? If you want to know yourself, then why do you need to worship? Well, Nirguna Brahman, the limitless reality that is you or oneself, can only be known when we relate to Saguna Brahman, that is Shakti, that is Ishvara, that is this world of names and forms. And so Shiva, who symbolizes pure consciousness, can be known only through Shakti. Shakti people do translate as energy, power and so on. I find that an abstraction, and therefore I will stick with Shakti, the one who personifies and who is the very embodiment of power, energy and so on. Grace, blessing. So during the first 3 days we worship Durga in the text called Durga Saptashati, Devi Mahatmyam, which is a set of 700 verses. There are many episodes of Durga waging war and destroying asuras. Okay, again, asura I don't want to translate as demon, but beings who are given to adharma, not doing the right thing. And if Durga fights the enemies or asuras, so what about it? How does this concern me? Well, these asuras or beings who are given to adharma are as much external as internal. And so we worship Shakti, which helps us to deal with the asura-like tendencies, and I will explain what that is in a moment. So this self-concept, the individual has an army of asuras, okay? Asura-like, the reactivity, the extreme anger, extreme sadness, not confusion and so on and so forth. Om Durga Yai Namaha. So what is an asura? Generally, if we have to depict in movies, you will see someone who has very big eyes and large protruding teeth and horns on the head, somebody who's very ugly looking. But the Bhagavad Gita has a very nice verse which helps us to understand the qualities of an asura. Pravrittincha nivrittincha jana na vidurasuraha na shaucham na pichacharaha na satyam teshu vidyate. 16.7. The translation is that there is no being as such called asura, but people who have qualities that belong to asuras are the ones who don't know what is to be done. Always confused. What is to be done? What is to be withdrawn from? They do not understand dharma. And dharma is that which is conducive for the growth, happiness and welfare of all concerned. So there is a shaucham. There is a lot of psychological resolution that is important for growth has not taken place. Neither is there proper achara, proper conduct, what is appropriate for the well-being of all, including oneself. Nor is there satyam, truth and authenticity in them. Some other qualities of an asura are also mentioned in the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, some of which are arrogance or obsessed with the enjoyment of senses, that one will go to any lengths for the sake of pleasure. If anyone saw the movie The Beach, Once Upon a Time, Leonardo DiCaprio, it indicates the pursuit of pleasure to the exclusion of dharma very beautifully, one aspect of it. So those who might remember will remember that there is one of the community on the secret island who is left screaming in pain and not looked after because they don't want this person who needs medical help to leave the island. If that person were to leave the island, then the secret of this secret location will be found and then all the tourists will come. So for the sake of pleasure and party time, they actually do not look after someone who is from their own community who is dying in pain. So much is the pursuit of pleasure to the exclusion of everything else. Then one of the qualities of an asura is someone who is consumed by binding desires, has lot of greed and uncontrollable anger. So as we see and very reluctantly recognize that asuras are not these ugly looking creatures, but some of the tendencies towards this may well be within me. Not out of any malice, but because of reactions that have grown in me because of the hurt and the anger and the sadness that I may have gone through in life. Even Duryodhana, the person whom Arjuna fights in the Mahabharata war, very learned person, and he actually rules out all options and almost forces the war. So he says, I know what is dharma, but I am not inclined towards it. Janami adharmam nachabe nivrittihi. I know what is not dharma, but I cannot avoid it. I just feel so impelled to do whatever comes to me and whatever comes to my heart. Of course, Duryodhana could have sought therapy. It would have been so simple. Life would have been simple. He could have healed his jealousy and so on, but he didn't do that. Sometimes we have this self-fulfilling prophecy. We justify whatever we are experiencing and feeling, and therefore we also justify our actions. So then what do? We pray to Devi Durga. We recognize that there are these obstacles in the form of asuras in my life. And these obstacles, which I just mentioned, some qualities, are all a part of Ishvara's order anyway. But they are preventing my growth as a human being. I find because of past anger and grief, because of trauma, I cannot enjoy what is there. I am always living in the past, or I am so anxious about the future, I am always thinking about the future in the present. There is confusion about what to do, so on and so forth. And so I pray to Devi Durga. Now, little episode from the Devi Mahatmyam, the set of 700 verses, where Durga gets referred to as Mahishasura Mardini. So this Mahishasura was an asura. Okay, he was the lord of all the asuras, and his head was that of a bull. Okay, Mahisha. And as the story goes, he fought all the devatas and all these divine beings, and he became the lord of even Swarga. Swarga is like our heaven, but it is not eternal. So the devatas were flustered, they needed help, and intelligent living lies in seeking help when one's resources are not enough. So the devatas go to Shiva and Vishnu for help. They share the story of defeat, and because they have also been thrown out of their jurisdiction, they are just moving around on the earth like mere mortals. And the thing is that devatas, despite their combined strength, could not defeat Mahishasura. Why? Because Mahishasura had gained the boon that no man or devata could kill him. Of course, he was so arrogant that he never thought that a woman could possibly kill him, the woman form. But anyway, so hearing all this adharma and how the devatas were displaced, Vishnu and Shiva were angry with this level of adharma. So a light issues from Vishnu, a light issues from Brahma and Shiva. And this light united together pervades the entire three worlds, combines into one, and becomes a female form. And this is Durga Devi. The battle begins between Mahishasura and Durga Devi. It's an extremely fierce battle. On both sides there are crores of horses, elephants, spears, clubs, and Durga Devi continues to kill the asuras one by one. because he has a very big army. So arms are cut off, necks are broken, blood flows like rivers, and the devas are showering flowers. So she manages to kill a lot of the asuras. Some of the names are there. So Ugrasya, Ugravirya, etc., etc. Then, but still this Mahishasura is very, very difficult to defeat. And then he becomes a lion because, he is a shapeshifter. He can keep changing his form. So he becomes a lion, she cuts off his head. He becomes a man, cuts off his head. He becomes an elephant again, cuts off his head. And then finally, Durga Devi presses him with her foot, kills him. And order, peace, harmony is restored in the world. The Devatas praise her, thank her, and bow in devotion. And so this Mahishasura is really a combination of the many forces that might represent laziness, inertia, ignorance, and so on for us, which prevent us from our many pursuits. And so, Jaya Jaya He Mahishasura Mardani, Ramyaka Pardini Shaila Sute. There's a very beautiful Mahishasura Mardini Stotram, very beautiful song in verse talking about her greatness. So we pray to Durga Devi to remove the various obstacles in our lives. We also see this principle in Ayurveda. So you have to allow the body to go through a process of detoxification first. And if any of you have been in an Ayurvedic treatment center, they will find the most bitter potion and give it to you. And you say, well, how could this possibly be good for me? But it is. So, and those bitter potions are necessary, that discomfort is necessary, so that the body, the mind, the entire being is cleansed, to then be able to receive, digest, and assimilate what is good for me. So now that there is some relief from these tendencies, which are asura-like, it does not mean that they have all gone away. What it only means is that they are still there in seed or latent form. So then what else do we need? Oh, we need Mahalakshmi now. Why? Because if you want to cultivate a garden, then you want to see that the mud, the soil is fertile. And if there are weeds, they have to be taken out so that whatever seeds one grows in the garden can bloom, flower, and give fruits and harvest, so that a wonderful, thriving ecosystem is formed. So the harvest and the fragrance of this garden that we want to create, which is the garden of our mind and our life, needs to permeate to all parts of our life and actually flows into our karma. So what do we pray to Mahalakshmi for and why? Again, the literal translation, of course, Mahalakshmi is all wealth. The Bhagavad Gita refers to Devi Sampattihi, the wealth of the Devas, divine wealth. And what is this divine wealth? So that again, those are described in terms of different qualities, and with the recognition that once you have these different qualities, which are anyway there in all of us in some measure or the other, then the sense of lack that one experiences diminishes, reduces. Because what richness is supposed to do for us is to make us free enough to pursue what we need to pursue, free from cravings, aversions, free from anything that holds me back. Om Mahalakshmi Namaha. So what this Devi Sampat, Bhagavan Krishna says in the Gita, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Abhayam Sattvasam Shuddhihi Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi Danam Damashta Yajñascha Swadhyayastapa Arjavam. So all wonderful qualities that are already there in us, but he suggests that may you cultivate, may you nurture these qualities, and Mahalakshmi can bless us with these. What are these qualities? Abhayam, freedom from fearlessness, freedom from fear, or rather fearlessness. So we all know how we have held ourselves back because of fear of loss of someone, fear of losing your hair, your youth, fear of failure, etc., etc. So we pray to Mahalakshmi that while we are working on this, may I have freedom from fear. May there be sattva samshuddhi, purity of mind. And all of this healing, what for? So that I have mastery. What for the mastery? Tada rupe swarupe avasthanam. Tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. That may I abide in my nature. That may I recognize that I am the nature of fullness, ananda. And so when I contemplate, may I not think about my to-do list. Of course, these thoughts do come and we bring the mind back on track. May I not be remembered of all the trauma that I have experienced and I have resolved, but I keep coming back because I still consider myself or define myself as a survivor of trauma. Trauma, I don't need to perpetuate the trauma by defining myself as a survivor of trauma, especially after I have healed. So anyway, these are all small nuances. Then dhanam. I learn to expand my heart by giving of my skills, my talents, my abilities, time, other resources, and so on. Damaha, the discipline in the way in which I use my sense organs. Yajna, performing different rituals. Recitation, swadhyaya, recitation of one's Veda or certain mantras or shlokas that one has learnt prayerfully. Tapas, religious austerities or sadhanas, where one is pushing the boundaries of the body and mind so that one can step out of one's comfort zone, so much so that the whole world is your comfort zone. It's not just the bedroom or one's room or one's house or safe space in Wonderland, What else? Arjavam, aligning oneself in terms of thought, word and deed. Is that all? No, there are a few more which are referred to as divine wealth that Mahalakshmi can bless us with. Ahimsa. So, ahimsa satyam tyagashantirapayshunam daya bhuteshvalolupvam martavam rirachapalam. Because I have been hurt, I want to hurt. I want to punish all the people who have hurt me. And therefore, Bhagavan Krishna reminds, to the extent you can, practice ahimsa. Because nobody wants to be hurt, cheated, humiliated, neither do you. So ahimsa, you're avoiding himsa, avoiding some harm or violence. And it's a very important value to practice. It is one of the divine wealth. Then satyam, truthfulness, akrodhaha, managing one's anger such that you express it appropriately and channelize the anger such that the anger doesn't have you, you have the anger. And so you can do whatever needs to be done with it. Tyagaha, renunciation or growing out of dependence on things, objects, people and so on. Shantihi, resolution of the mind. Then daya, compassion. We stand in the parampara of Pujya Swami Dayananda, and so there is an added responsibility that we own up very happily of being embodiments of compassion and kindness to all that we meet. Then a certain softness, mardvam, also an absence of ardent longing. Then there are a few more, so please don't get overwhelmed, okay? Mahalakshmi is there to bless us. Tejakshama dhriti shaucham adroho nati vanita bhavanti sampadam devim abhijatasya bharata. So, okay, so at least the verses have come to an end regarding the divine wealth. So all these things, and there are a few more, tejaha, brilliance, that comes from understanding, knowledge, shama, a certain accommodation and composure, dhritihi, fortitude, being able to deal with what you cannot change, dealing with difficulties in life without murmuring. Puja Swamiji would say munu munu. So anything is happening, like there's this silent murmur of complaint going on all the time. And so to silence that voice who's always complaining. I mean, of course, the world in Kali Yuga is such that there is a lot of things that need changing, but some of us get into the habit of complaining. And so, being able to resolve that. Shaucham, cleanliness, and no exaggerated self-opinion. So these are some of the qualities that are considered as the wealth of the Devatas. So Mahalakshmi, Devi, frees us from the sense of lack. And so with the wealth that one has, one is free to be full-hearted in one's pursuits, and so we pray to her. Now the last 3 days of Navaratri, we invoke the grace of Saraswati Devi. Om Saraswatyai Namaha. Saraswati is recognized as the embodiment of knowledge, all knowledge. So it's not only self-knowledge, Paravidya, but also Aparavidya, which may include cryptocurrency and science and biology and physics, any discipline of knowledge that has been created and yet to be created. So Saraswati blesses us with all of that, including performing arts and all arts. And therefore, we pray to her because one is, we have been cleansed of that which was holding us back. We have made the effort to cultivate qualities that are already present in us, but we nurture them such that we have a mind that is a joy to us. The Sanskrit word for mind is a very revealing word. It is called antakarana, inner instrument. Inner instrument can only be used by someone. It cannot use itself. And therefore, the mind can become an instrument in my hands when I am able to master the mind. With love, with gentleness, with aligning myself with dharma, doing whatever is to be done. So I am at a stage where I am open, I am ready to be vulnerable, and I am willing to receive knowledge. So we pray to Saraswati, and then of course the 10th day of Navaratri is Vijayadashami. Vijaya is victory and Dashami is 10th. So it's really the victory of dharma over adharma. And when we pray to all these 3 aspects of Devi, they are not really 3. It is Devi Shakti who is in the form of Durga to take away what we don't want, what is standing as an obstacle in my growth as a human being. That very Devi has a form of Mahalakshmi in terms of blessing me with qualities that are my wealth. I just own up the wealth that I have and nurture whatever has been given to me. And thirdly, after gaining the adequate Shuddhi, purity, receptivity for knowledge, then we contemplate on Saraswati for knowledge for our different pursuits. So you remember we started with the Ahankara, the one who is struggling with life, the one who is struggling with experiences, who has regrets, hurt, guilt, etc., is now a devotee, no longer an individual who sees oneself as isolated, alienated from the whole, but who is ever connected and has been able to feel it more strongly because of the worship that one has made a choice to do. And further, the cultural practice also in India is very beautiful. On the 9th day, we have what is called Ayudha Puja. So Ayudha are, instruments or tools that you use in your work. And I remember when we were in the Gurukulam, so on the 9th day, because, a lot of Puja Swamiji's talks are on our hard drive and on our laptops. And so there was a collection of laptops for which we did puja because, because this is our instrument. But by worshipping and the instrument, what we are reminding ourselves is really that I am an instrument in Devi's hands. And the Shakti that I have been given, may I not dismiss it? Because, all of us have been given the Shakti to desire, and desire is such a beautiful, glorious thing, as long as it doesn't get too binding. The desire to provide for your family, to heal, the desire to contribute, the desire to make people's lives happier, better. These are all wonderful dharmic desires to have. And so this Ichha Shakti is the blessing of Devi. Then Devi also blesses us with Jnana Shakti, the ability to know anything and everything, including how to live stream if you are having something on Zoom. So whatever, all kinds of knowledge, Jnana Shakti, which is always available to us every moment. And then finally, Kriya Shakti, the ability to translate your desires and your knowledge into meaningful actions for yourself and for the others. And so, because we have been blessed with this Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, I see myself as an instrument in Devi's hands and I allow her to flow through me. Vijayadashami, the 10th day, is also considered very auspicious for any initiation or beginning new studies, because we are indicating our openness to study, our openness and willingness to learn, which also means that we are indicating that we are willing to drop our resistances regarding what I know and what I swear by, and so on and so forth. So the individual, the Ahankara, now revels in being a devotee as one who discovers a lot of love in her heart because of seeing the connectedness with Ma Durga, Mahalakshmi and Saraswati, not only during Navaratri, always. Navaratri is just a time of little more intense sadhana, but it's not only limited to this time. If you relate to Devi, the Divine Mother, then we will see magic happen in our lives. And so with these prayers, if there is time, we can do a guided meditation. I wish you all well for Navaratri, and may you make the most of this very special time with your offering of sadhana and worship. Okay, so we sit comfortably. We sit in a posture that is comfortable to us. It may be on the chair, it may be on the floor, but whatever is comfortable and stable. You may keep your eyes gently closed or slightly open, but with your eyes gazed downward so that you are not looking around, but you have a point of focus. The initial preparatory steps of any meditation is to see that the body is relaxed. And so we shift our attention to our breathing. We're not trying to regulate it. It is slow, it is rhythmic. So as we sit here, we visualize that I am sitting in the lap of Devi. We might have heard or seen some images of Devi, whatever comes to mind. Om Namo Devyai Namaha. You've offered your namaskara, your salutations to Devi, and you are sitting in her lap, in her embrace, curious, and also feeling very warm and comforted. Now that you feel safe, perhaps a little reassured, you tell her some of the obstacles, some of the difficulties that you are facing in your life. As you articulate these difficulties in your many pursuits, Devi just continues to hold you and says that she will take care of it. Sometimes the obstacles are no longer seen as obstacles. Sometimes one gets added strength to deal with the obstacles. And sometimes by grace, the obstacles go away, such that the path is clear for our many pursuits. Devi Durga tells you something that will help you in dealing with difficulties in your life. Listen to what she has to say. as you continue to sit in her lap with your eyes closed, you open your eyes and then you find that she looks little different. Her form seems to have changed, and you are met with another form, Devi Mahalakshmi. You recognize her from some of the contemplative verses, dhyana shlokas that have been said. She is dressed in all finery, and you are sitting in her lap. After receiving blessings from Devi Durga, the cup is as though empty, and one is open to cultivating the qualities that are often referred to as wealth of the Devas. So yes, you pray for wealth in terms of money, finances, that give you the freedom of time to devote to your pursuits. You pray for wealth that you may make meaningful contributions, and of course to live a simple life. You also ask her for all the qualities that you are trying to cultivate so that there is mastery of the mind. And she says, be gentle with yourself. There is no need for self-condemnation. With objectivity, one can cultivate what is already there. So the qualities of giving, truthfulness, compassion, and so on. You ask her, in particular, some of the qualities that you would like to have more of. And you hear Devi Mahalakshmi say, you look at her with her compassionate eyes while continuing to be in this warm embrace and thank her for what she has said and what she has blessed you with. And before you know it, the form has changed, the face has slightly changed. It's still a very kind, compassionate face that is looking upon you with a lot of love. Dressed in white, you see that it is Devi Saraswati. You tell her that you are seeking to know the truth of who you really are. You tell her to bless you with the knowledge of the required information and skills necessary for you to excel in your profession, the knowledge and skill for you to engage in different kinds of relationships. and so on. And you also again repeat your desire for that knowledge that liberates you from a sense of lack. You feel connected to her. You identify yourself as a devotee, as a one who has love, which starts with love for Devatas, love for Devi, and very slowly extends to the entire world, because the entire world is a manifestation of Devi herself. All the intelligence that you see in your body and mind and the world are all Devi Shakti. And Devi Saraswati tells you that Tvam Asi. You are that whom you considered remote, but actually you are me. What is intrinsic about you, that which cannot be changed, that which is always present, that which will survive the death of the body, that which is the limitless, that is me, is you, is everyone. And you smile. That from the standpoint of the body, it seems like there are two and many, but from the standpoint of consciousness that pervades all forms, there is only one. You hold with your tiny hands, you aim to hold Devi Saraswati. And as you do that, out of gratitude for this teaching, you find that Saraswati has disappeared from that form. What is there is you, blessed by Devi Durga, Mahalakshmi, Saraswati, with a growing awareness of the Shakti that you are, the Shakti that is available to you every moment, and the Shakti to be an instrument for whatever needs to be done in this world. You have discovered a fullness of heart that comes from the recognition of the fullness that you are. You are now a blessing to the world. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Matra Rupena Samsthita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You can rub your palms and take them to cup your eyes, slightly opening your eyes and allowing a little sliver of light to pass through as you lower your palms and open your eyes. Om Tat Sat.